Katie is the first to remember and bows, sort of curtsying towards you, and Teresa follows just a half a moment after.
I think Monkey gets super confused and sort of like does the theatrical like bow back as like
I think it kind of gets caught in a loop for a moment where you bow deeper and they curtsy. G'day, and welcome to the Stream of Chaos. We are Chaosium's official live play channel, and we're here playing Call of Cthulhu. I am Dave. I'm the Keeper of Arcane Lore for this session, and this is the beginning of a new scenario. We are jumping into the 19th hole, which is the final module contained within the Mansions of Madness. If you would like your own copy of this tremendous tome, you can head over to chaosium.com. You can get it. And if you want to see our previous live plays, you can go to the Chaosium YouTube and relive those disasters. If you enjoy the videos, let us know in the comments and consider subscribing to see what we do next. This time it isn't a gimme because we have run out of book. I'd like to thank Roll20, Sirenscape, and Web Captioner for being tremendous tools which help us to run Call of Cthulhu, and there's links to all of these websites in the description. Alright, now, as we jump into this scenario, the three of you have made your way across the pond and into Europe. You've been traveling through, most recently in London, chasing down mythos leads, most of them tending to be dead ends. You're desperate for another haunted house. And you've also been finally licensed as private investigators. So it's a slight surprise when you're contacted by an American. A woman called Crystal Macmillan sends you a letter explaining that her husband, Arthur Macmillan, has gone missing, and she's concerned that the police aren't taking this very seriously. She and her husband are both expatriates. They moved over to Scotland when they retired, and her husband, Arthur, purchased a run-down golf course with the intent of refurbishing it. She has money. They're quite wealthy, and they've forked out for you to take the train up from London to the local, the most nearby town, which is Dundee, and from there you will get a bus to Crowwood Hall, which is where she is based, and she's willing to pay for all of your travel expenses throughout it and anything else you incurred during the investigation. You come quite highly recommended. So as we jump into the scenario, the three of you are nearing the end of a long train trip. It's been 7 hours. You've gotten first class tickets, so it's a bit posh. Could you each introduce your investigators, say how they look and how they're feeling, and give us a little snazz, a little insight into them. Art, why don't you begin?
Hi, I'm Art. I am playing Monkey, who is a small, slight individual, generally dressed in a relatively motley attire in the sort of original definition of the term motley.
Mm-hmm.
Mishmash of costume-esque clothes, and probably clothes filched from other people's wardrobes, and definitely there's a lot of gold and or silver and or metallic embroidery in various things, because Monk does quite like the shinies.
Like a shiny?
Monkey, indeterminate age, sex, job,
species.
And species. That's pretty much what I've said from the beginning. But they're probably honestly, they're probably really excited at the start of the train journey, small child level excited of getting on a train in the United Kingdom. At one point, they'd probably turn around and be like, "Did you know that they don't pronounce their THs correctly over here? So Arthur would be Arthur or something like that." I don't know. I just heard it. It was really funny, and is just babbling away, and then eventually just goes to sleep. He's
loudly,
just bored.
Loudly gossiping. So probably. Close enough.
Yeah, Monkey is at this point probably just curled up, fetal position, just having a nap in one of the train carriages.
Perfect. All right, taking advantage of the legroom. So next to Monkey, we have Cousin Bradley.
Hey, that's me. I'm Jackson, and I'm playing Bradley Fogarty, psychologist to the stars. When we last met, he was
Being a wizard.
being a bit of a wizard. Yeah,
Mostly.
I think that's been quietly bubbling away in the background, but you couldn't tell by looking at him because he just wears his plain old brown tweed suit. He's picked up a very kind of a long trench coat, I guess, for the Scottish rains. I think the weather agrees with him. I think he's quite at home in the dour, windswept, foggy, rainy Highlands. So
Trace
this should
Manchester
go really
back here.
well.
Have you been pursuing your arcane interests over the last 6 months, or have you set those aside? Consider that box ticked. On to a new adventure.
Honestly, no. I think he respects his spells and understands they're in case of emergency only. Especially because he did kind of pull Isabella through all sorts of nonsense, and he's still a little bit concerned about the effects of that. So I think he'll just watch and wait a little bit longer just to make sure she's okay.
Have you taken to the long train ride? Bit of time to catch up on work or
Crosswords.
crosswords? Very
I got like a
nice.
big kind of book of crosswords from the train station. I'm steadily moving through it.
Perfect. All right, so
No,
finally,
4
speaking of
words for
nonsense-
meddling with things you don't understand.
Isabella.
Yes, I am Isabella Watch, explorer, and recently pulled through the very folds of time after my untimely death last session. I'll dive into that, but first of all, Dave, who did we come highly recommended by? Because
You must have done something successful. I don't know. You're gonna have to
Oh.
think of something.
Found a lost dog.
I
Hold
think
on,
that
hold
Orson
on.
is probably the only person who would
We
have
destroyed
recommended
a
us well.
house.
You've destroyed several houses.
Yeah,
Good
yeah,
job.
no, but we destroyed a house when someone wanted us to.
Yeah.
We probably came
a
highly
criminal
recommended
man.
through Orson Vaughan. Like, that's a dude that owes us a couple of favors now.
Orson is a businessman. He's not a criminal, thank you. There's nothing that can be
didn't say
proved in a
criminal.
court of law. Oh, I'm talking to
did.
Dave. You were very
Oh, right.
polite.
I think my assumption was that while moving, you've been over here for several months, right? And this is the kind of period, it's often when you do these adventures, when you chain them one after the other, it's like, oh, so is everything mythos? No. You spent 6 months going to boring houses looking for ghosts and they had nothing in them. But you were, you found the missing ring. You tracked down the dog that went tearing off. You come highly recommended from your most recent work in and around,
Great.
Britain.
Excellent. Yes. So I'm sitting upon the train. I'm gazing out at the countryside rolling past. The spell seems to have worked, and I seem to be mostly intact. But every now and again, perhaps I'm a little more distant, little hesitation in my movements. But no, I'm enjoying England and London, especially since I speak like this, so everyone assumes I'm a local.
Perfect. So for those who need a quick recap, Isabella unfortunately perished during the most recent scenario, but due to some quick thinking and some, corruption of the timeline, an earlier version of her was plucked from the ether and moved into the today and the now. This can only go poorly, but for the moment, Isabella is of sound body, if not of sound mind. And we'll see how that unravels. I have my fingers crossed for violently.
I feel like, have we pissed off the space wolves again? Like, is that what's going on? We've just annoyed
see.
a bunch of like cosmic
Don't
felines or something. Or whatever.
give him ideas.
The number of
I don't
times we have
think-
toyed with time at this point, it is dangerous. Actually, the first time was dangerous. This point, it's stupid. But we will see. It will all come to a head. I also found it briefly amusing that in order to have you guys get a sound recommendation, we did need to do a little time jump and have some successful and trivial adventures off screen.
Also, Bradley, you're the only one from this timeline.
Oh my god.
No,
Yeah, you're right. The other two of you are
that's
stuffed.
true.
Oops.
What does that mean?
Nothing good, mate.
It means
Nothing
you're
good.
dying this session.
Oh, okay.
And then we'll
All
come
right.
back here.
And then you guys can pull me out of time, and we'll go
Hate
have
to
some
break
more
it to you.
adventures.
I'm not a wizard,
Yet. No one's
and I
ever
don't have a
wizard
time
yet.
machine anymore. I do have a diode though.
Getting over. All right. So the three of you cease your musings as the train pulls into Dundee. This is one of the larger cities in Scotland. I think it's second only to Glasgow. It's a large industrial town, a lot of smoke that chews up towards the sky. And there's a lovely little bus which takes you out from Dundee down towards Crowwood Hall, and more specifically, a local pub called the the Queen's Head. That's it. You actually have to like hire the bus. You have to rent it from them because they don't go down there super frequently. So the voyage is quiet. It's just the three of you as you leave the urban city for rural fields. This area has a lot of farming country around it. You see dense black woods with thickets of trees in them, and large pastures of farmland, until eventually you pull up in front of a like iconic little pub with the whitewash and the little hanging sign at the front of it with an emblem to symbolize the Queen's Head for those that are illiterate. Inside you can hear local workers and farmers enjoying a pint and a feed, and they'll all stumble out and go home after a while. It's probably 6 p.m. or so. There's another character waiting for you when you arrive. You telegrammed ahead and coordinated with Crystal Macmillan, and waiting at the bus station is a large black automobile. Very nice, although it's got a large scratch on one side. And standing out front of it, very primly dressed and held together, is a gentleman with sort of like combed down hair, stamping his foot slightly, and as the three of you come forward, he hurries towards the bus and begins to grab your luggage to move it towards the vehicle. He says, good evening, everyone. My name is Kilburn, Gordon Kilburn. I am a valet to Mr. and Mrs. Macmillan. It's an honor to have your assistance, and I do hope you found the journey acceptable.
It was wonderful, Mr. Kilburn. Thank you for your assistance here.
Oh, not at all. He takes the bags to the back of the car and begins to load them in, stacking them like Tetris.
You'll be taking us to the estate then?
Right to the hall, if that's agreeable. Unless anyone needs to use the restroom or needs some food first.
No, I think I'm quite all right. Will we be meeting with Miss Macmillan today, or?
Yes, if that's agreeable. Mrs. Macmillan has set aside some time to speak with you this evening after her dinner, and we have had accommodation prepared for you so that you can stay at the hall while you pursue your investigation.
Phenomenal.
Very good.
Can I get a psychology read on this man?
Yeah, sure. Make a psychology
Because
roll for me.
last time we got greeted by a valet, he tried to kill us.
Is that true? Yes, you're right.
Oh, no, not for
He was
either
the-
of you. Only me.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
True.
well.
I'm the only one that
Oh.
experienced that.
You've been regaled with the tales. You can make a psychology roll. You're the psychologist.
I'm like-
mate.
Yeah, what?
Def's
Yeah,
gonna make
what?
a psychology roll.
I'm gonna jump ahead several pages.
So
that's
you
never a
can
good
see the
sign.
shape of a gun and a time machine under the valet's clothes.
The corpse is in the trunk next to your luggage. All right, so Gordon Kilburn is a very
American?
well held together bloke. He's not. I'm just gonna juggle around accents because I don't want to do
Oh, no.
Scottish for everyone. It's gonna throw me off. He is Scottish. He is a very held together man, but you can see inwardly he is quite nervous. He has a few tics, like the sort of like hammering boot on the ground, and he's very eager to get things underway and progress. You also get the impression that he seems to be more a fan. He speaks more fondly of Mr. Macmillan, being Arthur, the missing gentleman, than Mrs. Macmillan, being Crystal. And he will, as you get into the car and begin to drive away, he will explain that he is specifically Arthur Macmillan's valet, and a lot of his roles, his duties, were to tend to Mr. Macmillan, escorting him to and from the golf course, keeping an eye on some of his paperwork and assisting with things like that. And you get the impression he feels a little bit personally responsible for him going missing, kind of like he should have had his eyes on him the whole time. All right.
But you reckon he can be trusted?
Do you reckon he can be trusted?
Yeah, he seems all right.
Look, he's nervous. Under pressure, you think he might crack, but you don't believe he seems earnest and eager to recover Mr. Macmillan, certainly.
Excellent. All right. This time, it's not the valet.
This time.
Good to
and
know.
for now. All
The
right.
butler didn't do it.
I've moved you guys over to a map on Roll20. Can you see that? And I'll show our lovely viewers. All right. So this is an overview of the area, the region we are in. So the Queen's Head pub is where you were dropped off. That is just here. And Dundee, over in the top right, is the larger city which you came from. It's about an hour or two away on a bus. If you are from the Queen's Head pub, you can call for one to come and retrieve you. Otherwise, you'll have to rent or borrow a car or something. As I said, there's a number of farms all around the area, and as you drive up towards Crowwood Hall, just here, you will go past the Thistledown Golf Club, which is the piece of property that the Macmillans have purchased. It's a sprawling 18-hole course, which from the outside does look a little bit run down. You can see that the fences are rusted and choked with ivy. The gates are currently locked, and inside, where you can see a clubhouse, there is heavy renovation underway. There's vans parked out the front with supplies and sort of stores of lumber and tools, although a lot of it has been tarped and put on hold because the construction has temporarily ceased, as Gordon explains to you as you drive. It is locked up, as is the course itself. You continue driving around up and towards Crowwood Hall, which reveals itself to be a large, quite beautiful older manor. This too has seen recent and significant renovation. A lot of the windows are currently in the process of being replaced. The Macmillans, as again Gordon explains, purchased this property along with the farm, and where Arthur has taken control of the golf club to revitalize it and turn it into a successful investment. Mrs. Macmillan, Crystal, has gone about introducing a touch of life into this old property. She's renovated it significantly, brought in art pieces, and is kind of trying to turn it into their home as they live out their retirement here. As the car pulls in, you see a few people moving about. There is a large, heavily bearded gentleman standing towards the back of Crowwood Hall. He's carrying a large, tree-felling axe. And as he sees the car come in, he slams it down into a stump of wood, eyes the car as it passes, and then disappears around the back. That, as Gordon Kilberg explains, is Peter Craig. He's the groundskeeper. As the car stops in the front, waiting at the doors, up the little jaunt of stairs, is a gentleman dressed similarly to Gordon. This is the butler, and standing to his right is an older woman. She is the cook and head sort of caretaker for the home. I also, because I often forget to do this, I want to show you guys some other things. I have art pieces for all of the characters.
Get out of
Oh,
town.
awesome.
Yeah. And you guys have a look at these. So, first of all, this is Gordon. That should, here we go, show to everyone. Correct. So
Yep.
that's Gordon Kilburn. So this is the valet, who you've met. This is Peter Craig. Show to everyone. He's the groundskeeper and the gentleman with the very large axe.
Well,
Quite
actually,
the
last
beard.
time it was the groundskeeper, I guess. So we
maybe those
got
ones
to
are what we
vet
switched.
him.
These are This is the butler, Gerald Keating, and the cook and head caretaker, Audrey Grant.
Oh God. Oh, there's so many staff. They could all be suspicious.
And
They all
lastly,
look pretty suspicious, I'll be honest.
Actually, no, not lastly. We'll do those as we come to them. All right, so the car pulls up and Gordon steps out and begins to remove your luggage. He says, "You go right ahead. I'll bring your belongings out, and when you're shown to your rooms, everything will be unpacked or moved there and ready for your rest."
Perfect. Thank you very much. And we'll grab our, the indispensables that we must have with us, and then head up.
I tip
Bentley of
him.
Knives. You tip him?
Just to confuse him.
No. It's not necessary, sir.
Yes.
I'm
I'm so sorry. Keep forgetting. Yes, of course. Do things weird over here.
You have a good day. You each grab like a day pack and begin to head towards the steps up and into the hall. The butler and caretaker both introduce themselves. Butler saying, "Hello, I am Gerald Keating. If there's anything I can do for you at all while you're staying here, you please don't hesitate to reach out and just ask." Then he moves off to go and procure some refreshments for the three of you, and the caretaker, Audrey Grant, says, "It's so lovely to meet the three of you, and I'm so looking forward to your assistance in this rather troubling matter. I'm Audrey, and you must be Miss Watch, Dr. Fogarty, and I understand Monkey, is that right?"
Right.
Charming to meet you all. If you'd please follow me, Mrs. McMillan has set herself up in her bedroom. She leads you inside and up a grand flight of stairs. You go past like a sitting room, somewhere which might be more suitable for meeting with people, and instead head to the second level where you head towards a large, beautiful bedroom with an immense balcony that looks out over the Crow Wood to the back, and is filled with sort of light that just floods into the area. As you go past, you see there are two maids, which are dusting the. I was gonna say dusting the walls. I don't think that's something one does. Dusting like a bookshelf filled with artifacts and little bits and bobs. Which Audrey introduces you past, goes, "Teresa, Katie, please if you could do that elsewhere for the moment," are the two maids, who I will also show you the answer. So that's Teresa and Katie. And we've now got a wealth of pictures. And then you go into the bedroom. Crystal McMillan is an older woman. She's probably 60s, heading towards her 70s at this point, with long white hair. And she's currently seated in a little chair off to the side of the bed, which is made and everything, with several other chairs brought into the room with her, a small coffee table to the side, and on it a photo of her absent husband. Other chairs have been brought in so that the three of you can sit and join her. And while Audrey excuses herself, the butler returns shortly after with tea and a little thing of biscuits and things, places them down, and then excuses himself as well. All right.
Oh.
Oop, here comes James.
Smooth.
All good?
No one noticed.
Smooth as butter. All right. So Crystal doesn't stand up, but reaches out a hand to shake each of yours and says, I'm so grateful that the three of you could make the journey up from London, and as I understand, from across the ocean as well, not too long ago. Is that right?
Yes, well, we departed Boston some time ago and thought we'd seek our fortunes across the pond. And it was a delight to make your acquaintance, having met someone from the New World.
Oh, well,
So thank you for having us.
Oh, not at all, not at all. Please, you come here highly recommended, and it's my great pleasure that you have agreed to look into this small matter for me. As I explained in my letter, my husband, that's Arthur, has been missing for 3 long days. This now being the 4th. I'm rather afraid that he may have wandered off and done something a tad foolish. I really don't quite know. He's been quite invested with his golf course of late, and well, I'm afraid it's rather taken his focus. It was only 4 days ago when he headed out there to look into I don't know the specifics, to be honest. He tends to the course and I tend to the home. But when he went missing, Cameron, Mr. Nairn, that's the foreman who's overseeing most of the works, he did a precursory sweep, and then we alerted the police out of Dundee. 2 detective inspectors came down, and I'm disappointed to say that I found their performance rather lacking. They barely spent an hour or 2 looking before declaring that if he was lost, he'd turn up and, well, returning to Dundee. It was shameful, to be perfectly frank. Shameful. That's when I reached out to the 3 of you to see if maybe private investigators who are a bit more motivated to look into where my dear husband's gone.
Well, after you.
Well, we'll certainly try our best. Now, is this unusual behavior for your husband, would you say? He doesn't often go for long walks and disappear for days at a time?
Oh, no. He's never been one for hiking. His great loves are, well, his family and friends, of course, and golf second, and then a good book and a nice cup of tea. No, he's not much of a walker at all.
I can guarantee you that we'll be able to help with this situation, and we'll spend a good lot longer than an hour or 2 here, that's for sure. There are some preliminary questions that would certainly move us along our way. If you wouldn't mind answering just a few quick points, and then we can launch into things tomorrow. Your husband, how is his health physically? Would he be capable of wandering away and vanishing off into the woods, should he choose?
He's quite capable of moving himself to and fro. He does walk with the assistance of a cane now, but he's the woods maybe not. But he's made the jaunt down to the Queen's Head pub when he feels a particularly vigorous evening is afoot.
Right, excellent. And forgive me for being so bold, but your husband, his age has not affected his reasoning in any way.
No. He's quite sensible.
Thank you. It must be asked just to eliminate all possibilities. If we know that he is.
As you say that, could you make? Bradley, why don't you make a psychology, because it's coming sooner or later.
I thought you'd never ask.
Isabella, maybe a charm roll?
Yeah, sure, I can try.
You're not particularly charming, are you?
No, I'm not. So here we go.
Okay, you know what? Leave it. I think it's okay. It's not offensive, but it is. That does kind of hit her sensibilities a little bit, and her instinct is kind of like what she just said, she probably wouldn't have admitted to it even if if his faculties weren't there, just because it just seems improper.
Right. And of course, Bradley, once again, 2 extreme successes.
Yeah, that's
He's a gun.
That's not bad.
Okay, Bradley. Crystal McMillan, and we've got the photo, so let's use the photo. Here we go. How's that? Can you see that? That's Crystal.
Oh,
very
there she
proper.
is.
And this is a photo of Arthur, which she has sort of placed just next to her. A Roman and regal nose.
So it's not just that the staff looked suspicious; it's that everyone here looks like they're a portrait of the Grand Generalissimo or something. It's terribly terrifying.
We're getting like a whole Orient Express vibe where everyone did it, like they all just took a turn at stabbing the bastard.
I'm not going to tell you that. All right, so you have a look at Crystal. Your first instinct is she is a very good host. She's polite. She's, quite charming. But you can see that she is, firstly, tired. She's exhausted. She has bags under her eyes. She has a slight tremor in one of her hands, and she keeps on looking forlornly out the window. You actually get, with an extreme, you get the instinct that she isn't tremendously concerned. She's very concerned, not tremendously. And the difference in my head between those two is she genuinely doesn't believe that he's like dead or gone forever. She thinks he's wandered off somewhere and will be found, and whether it's delusional, she is holding out not just hope, she just believes that with your assistance he will be recovered and everything will kind of just go back to the way it was. Additionally, with an extreme, you can see that she's a little, when Isabella says his sort of faculties about him, has his thoughts or intentions been clouded a bit, she does look a little, there's something there, a strain in the relationship maybe, or maybe it's just a sore point between the two of them. You're not certain.
But she didn't do it. Is that the impression I get?
She doesn't. Yes, that is the impression you get. You get that she is genuinely concerned for her husband and truly believes that with the three of your assistants, he will be safely recovered and returned to her.
Well, this is easy. You just got to go talk to everyone, roll an extreme success on every staff member, and we'll find them. I think I solved the scenario, Dave.
GM for you just let the players roll extreme successes, and as soon as they don't get an extreme on someone, they're the one that did it, and they just don't tell them the information.
I see nothing wrong with this.
Hopkeeper tips, excellent.
Yep.
Well,
Right.
Thank you very much, Mrs. McMillan. A couple more questions. Where and when was the last time you saw your husband?
I saw my husband late on the afternoon before he went missing. We had a discussion downstairs, and then he decided that it would be best if he went to the golf course to have a look around. I understand that progress hasn't been quite satisfactory. Again, I don't know the specifics. I turn to the house, and he turns to his little project.
You mentioned several times that the golf course has been taking up quite a bit of his time. What's been occurring exactly? He's having it rebuilt, reworked, attempting to. Could you tell us about the golf course a little?
Oh, heavens knows, it's men and their projects. You understand, I'm sure. You have a husband?
Yes, I had several.
He's been...
Or unlucky, depending on how you take it. But I take your
Depending
meaning.
on who you're
Yes.
asking.
He's been drawn into it. This was the I wanted to move to Scotland principally. He agreed to come, firstly for his loving wife, but secondly for the opportunity to purchase and refurbish a golf club. The course, as I understand it, was never tremendously successful. Something about the course, the holes, the lay. I truly don't know. He intended to redesign many of the holes and refurbish the clubhouse and hopefully bring it into a real sporting affair. He's complained in the past that they haven't made quite as much progress as he would have liked. To tell you the truth, you'd be better off speaking with Mr. Nairn, the foreman, who is overseeing much of the work. He also, importantly, will have a set of keys to get you access. And which,
Excellent. And we have your permission to wander the golf course to see if we can spot anyone.
Yes, heavens, go where you want. Speak to whomever you so please, and if there's any assistance that we can provide, you don't hesitate to ask. I have the three of you located a missing person before? Is this a regular occurrence for the three of you?
Well, dogs are effectively small furry people.
I
We
always say
have-
that.
We have extensive experience in all elements of investigation. Never fear, Mrs. McMillan. We will. I'm sure we'll be able to assist you.
Oh, no fear. No fear. And she trails off a little bit, looking out the window. During this, Monkey, how are you behaving? What are you doing?
What? How fancy is the room?
Fairly.
I think Monkey is like perched on one of like the quite nice, I assume probably like brocadey like fabric seats. It's like I'm getting a vibe of like, you know, old manor house that's slowly being done up. So like very fine fabrics, lots of like embellished things.
Yes,
I think Monkey's
absolutely.
just kind of like sitting perched on one of the seats, kind of looking around and just trying really hard not to move.
Okay.
Like this is a lot, because I would argue that shiny in the new world is not the same as shiny in the old world. So I think this is
Whole new.
probably a little overwhelming for Monkey, who's just like, there are so many things that are so beautiful and I don't know what to do.
Have to like
Oh my.
physically sit on your hands to prevent yourself.
I don't
from
even
just
think it's
nicking
that. I
shit.
think it's more like paralysis through just like awe. I don't even think the idea of taking anything is sort of hitting Monkey at this moment, because everything, it's not shiny, it's like beautiful. I think they're just having a moment of just like, oh, I just want to touch it, but I don't want to touch it because I'll break it, and then oh no.
And then I will be in trouble.
Yeah, so I don't know if Monkey's paying a huge amount of attention, outside of like just staring at things.
Staring and
I think-
behaving, which are two
Or-
very good traits. All right. Well, Crystal, you can see she looks out in the distance and kind of loses herself for a moment, and then when she checks herself, she says, I'm sorry. Do you have any further questions?"
I think that should be just fine, Mrs. McKillen. Unless Bradley, Monkey, do either of you have anything additional you'd like to add?
Your house is really pretty.
Oh, thank you, dear. I've taken great pride in our work, and you just wait for another year or so when it's all done up. We'll be a real star.
Oh, I suppose maybe one question. Yeah, do you happen to know of any particular dangers we might find in the golf course? Any wild animals or dangerous poisonous plants and the like?
Yes, is there a crocodile of Dundee lurking in the? Sorry, had to do it.
Oh, dangers? No. It's a very pleasant place, and everyone here is really quite lovely. You've only to ask there for assistance. As you say, do you know of any dangers? Crystal doesn't react. She seems to firmly believe that this is a safe and proper location. From outside the door, which is closed, you hear something clatter to the ground and retreating footsteps. Crystal doesn't appear to have noticed. Just no, it's a really quite lovely location.
I think good.
All right.
Sorry, do you have a bathroom I can use really quickly?
Oh, yes. She reaches over and picks up like a little bell and ding, 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 and Gerald, the butler, returns opening the door and yes, and says, "Please let me escort you to the restroom."
Thank you.
Just after me.
I wanna, as I walk out, I wanna see if I can see what fell down.
Okay. He strides off with purpose towards the bathrooms to show you where they are. Give me a spot hidden roll, Monkey.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Ooh.
What fell has been picked up. It doesn't look like it was anything like physical, I suppose. But what you do see is the whisk of a maid's skirt disappearing around one of the corners. Apparently, that was the person that was retreating. Was one of the two maids.
And I follow.
If you plan to bail, Gerald, like as you turn to go that direction, goes, "There's a one much closer, just here."
Okay. Thank you.
Do you try and bail or?
I'll sort of like walk towards the bathroom, and then like if he hangs around, I'll just be like, do you mind?
No, sorry, not at all. He heads off. If
Right,
there's
then
nothing
I'll
more he can do of service.
Right.
Okay.
Then I'll bail.
He departs going the other direction to sort of, check on dinner or something. And as he disappears, you dart back out and begin to bounce down the stairs, following after the maid. Bradley and Isabella inside. Crystal, having seen Monkey, says, dinner was a bit earlier, but I understand there's some rather delicious another course being prepared if you haven't eaten recently, and accommodation has been drawn up for you. I hope you'll find it comfortable. I don't wish to tell you, you are the professionals after all, but please feel free to ask around any of the staff here at the hall. I've spoken to all of them myself, of course, but well, there's some things that they may not tell the wife of the missing persons and their employer. Perhaps you might have some more luck. Additionally, I have a card for the two rather useless detective inspectors in Dundee, if you wish to speak with them. And as for Mr. Nan, I understand he's renting a little cottage quite near the Queen's Head pub, and if I hear correctly, he enjoys a drink. You'll probably find him there most evenings. Apart from that, you're free to wander the course, the hall, and anywhere else that you'd like.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much. We'll be on our way then, and I'm sure we'll enjoy the meal. Thank you for your time.
Oh, thank you so much, and God bless you both.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Once we're outside, and I think we probably end up moving in the direction of dinner and things, I will quickly chat to Bradley. And I would like to say, I think we should tomorrow morning. Let's break off into the golf course itself and take a wander. Just make sure he hasn't fallen behind a hill or something. And I would say, if he'll have an office in here somewhere, right? With all the paperwork that he's dealing with about the course, I'm sure it'll have a lot of information in it. It might be useful for you to go and take a look at that. Read through the paperwork in his desk, correspondence, might be plans for the buildings.
Makes sense,
everything like
yes. And if I get a feel for exactly what part of the course he's focusing on, then you may be able to piece together his movements on the day.
If you could do that this evening, then I might head across to the pub and speak with Mr. Nan, and then tomorrow morning we can head off into the golf course itself.
Excellent. Did you have a job in mind for Monkey?
Monkey tends to be able to figure out their own agenda. I have utmost faith in them.
I wish I didn't feel the same way, but I think I do.
All right. Well, I'll after dinner then. Let's be on our separate ways, and we'll rally with Monkey after breakfast tomorrow.
Very good.
I muted myself. That was a good trick. All right. I had to have a lovely sip of bubbly water. Monkey, you go traipsing down the stairs and quickly spot the two girls standing in front of a bookshelf, cleaning, but also gossiping. One is slightly older than the other, with dark red hair, and the second, slightly younger one, has, sort of like pale brown hair, and seems the more diligent of the two. It's the older one who's talking to the younger. As you come round, unless you're intentionally trying to be unseen, which is well in your wheelhouse, they will notice you.
If they're gossiping, I might briefly try and listen before. I'm not intending to remain hidden the whole time, but just to like catch something maybe before.
How do you make a listen roll?
Okay. Whee.
Hey.
Oh, nice! 4 successes in a row. This is good.
All right.
You can't lose.
Teresa is talking to Katie. Teresa's the older one, and she says,
I told you, Katie, it's something to do with that damn dog. He's got to have gone missing. It's got to have gotten him or something. I mean, if he went wandering anywhere nearby, it would have torn him to shreds. And I mean, you do believe me, right? And Katie rolls her eyes a little bit, and Dustin says, "Look, Teresa, just shut up about the damn dog. It isn't real. Nothing around here is real. These stories you keep regaling me with, as much as I love talking to you, they're not relevant, and you're distracting me, all right? Mrs. McMillan has already had a very stern word to you and I about this, but look, just candidly, if we don't pick up our game, we are out of here, and I do not want to go back to tending tables." At this point, they see you, and they both whirl around, put their dusters behind their backs, and look at you slightly like they were caught in the act.
Hello.
Oh, hello. Katie is the first to remember and bows, sort of curtsying towards you, and Teresa follows just a half a moment after.
I think Monkey gets super confused and sort of like does the theatrical like bow back as like
I think it kind of gets caught in a loop for a moment where you bow deeper and they curtsy.
I'm very confused. This is hi.
Hello.
I am not fancy, so you really don't have to do that.
We have had proper and courteous training, and we've been encouraged to bow to each guest.
Oh, right, as in you were told you had to.
Katie leans forward and says, "It puts you at ease."
Does it?
Teresa says,
Oh, good
"I don't know.
God.
I don't know that it does. I think it's more a formality thing."
Right, because like we bow after doing something, amazing, or sometimes not that amazing, so the audience knows that they should clap now. But I don't know if it puts them at ease. Yeah. Although hang on. Okay. And I'll do a one-handed backflip.
At this point, they are astonished. Katie goes to clap, and Teresa stops her and whispers, "Wait for the bow."
Yeah, so I'll stand and then I'll be like, and a flourish bow.
And then they clap. As they clap, you see Audrey, the housekeeper, stick her nose out from the kitchen, and she makes a sound, and Teresa and Katie must startle and rush towards her to go back to cleaning, having been sternly put back in their place. Is there anything else?
I was just gonna excuse me, before you go, I had a question.
Audrey will kind of intercept the question. She steps out and folds her hands primly in front of herself and says, "If there's anything I can help you with."
Well, are the maids still nearby?
Yep. Actually, they have gone into the kitchen to work, but you can spot immediately Teresa is lingering by the door to continue listening, and Katie is not far behind her.
Well, I figured that you would probably be the better people to ask, being not owners above, the standard gossip of the Are there any interesting ghost stories about this place? Just weird tales, things like that. Because, my job kind of involves storytelling sometimes, and that's always interesting. But B, even if the ghost part isn't real, sometimes there's an element of weirdness that relates to people going missing and things like that. And I was just wondering if you knew anything.
Audrey scoffs at the idea, and she clutches around her neck a silver cross, and holds it and says, "Heavens, no, folk tales and ghosts and things like that. These old stories are nothing to do with around here. This is a good, God-fearing country, and rather more the proper for it." Teresa, from the back,
shoots Katie a glare, and then goes to like whisper at her aggressively. Katie just like standing backwards. Those two have heard your message and go walking backwards. Audrey then delivers you a short, prompt, and polite lecture about the sort of things that are proper, and that gossip is not one of them, nor are silly stories and made-up myths and folktales. After you feel sufficiently berated, she will go back to return to her cleaning. She is keeping a close eye on Katie and Teresa for the moment. We might get another chance to talk to them later.
Okay, thanks for your time. Cartwheel down the hallway. Yeah, like right at the end of the hallway, we'll stop and bow,
And
like
bang,
even though they're
bang,
not there.
clap. Awesome.
Yeah. And
All
then
right.
I'll head back to. I'm gonna go try and find the butler and then ask him where my companions are.
Yeah. The butler probably fetches you shortly after as the other two are coming down the stairs. The three of you convene and are all taken into a large, grand dining hall. You're seated at one end and plates are brought out, and it's sort of like a multi-course meal as each time the butler makes his trip through, clearing the earlier plates and bringing out the next course. The maids are seen occasionally. It is apparent that they love to listen in and just see a little bit of gossip never goes astray, so they're often nearby, even if they're not actually needed. Is there anything?
If they're nearby, because I've had an interaction with them and I know now that they like gossip. If they're like in the room cleaning or helping, I'll just turn to Cousin Isabella and be like, Cousin Isabella, could you tell us that story again of the time that you climbed 3/4 of the way up Mount Everest and almost got stuck in an ice
Oh, that
storm?
one! Yeah, 3/4 almost got stuck. Well, you know. So, we are climbing up on the northern face, and I'll launch into a long,
Give the maid something to
Right.
gossip about, essentially.
Yeah, they are drawn into the story. They're very much not supposed to be in here, but occasionally you can hear them like a little gasp from outside the door, and then them talking to one another about what they've just heard. Eventually Audrey comes past, and from outside you can hear an audible like smack as one of them's upended on the back of the head, and they're sent back to continue their tasks. But it is only a matter of time before they make their return and continue to try and listen in.
Oh, perfect. Okay. I will continue to regale with the most intense story of all time. As the blizzard falls in, we knew that here we would perish.
Is it true?
Yeah, can I make an intimidate check to tell like a hair-raising,
Oh, hell
frightening
yes.
story?
Yeah, definitely.
Ah.
I think you go a little hard on some of the details, and at
Yeah.
one point, Monkey from behind, Teresa, you could hear Katie saying Teresa going, I don't think any of this actually happened.
David, can I
Teresa
push
seems to
this
just
roll?
enjoy the story. Hey?
Can I push this roll? And they think I'm a filthy liar if I fail.
Yep, go for it.
Yeah.
You hit it with a couple of details that only someone who nearly died could reveal, like, you know, the missing thumb or something.
Yeah. I've got. Let's say I've got a missing toe, and I very rudely like take off my boot and slam it on the table to demonstrate.
It's enough to get the attention of the housekeeper as well, who gasps, walks forward towards you, leans down, and politely but loudly whispers to you, if you wouldn't mind removing your foot from the table, dessert is to be served.
Oh, dessert. Oh, thank you very much. Yes, of course.
She walks away, crossing herself and going, heavens. And shortly after, dessert is brought forth. It's later at night now. You'll be shown to your rooms shortly after. You've been given, there's 3 spare rooms, or there's possibly even more. And you've each been given your own accommodation. There's a bed, a place, all of your supplies or stuff have been brought in and sequestered away. Night falls outside, and you can hear sort of crickets and wildlife outside. This is quite close
to the woods. So there's that sound, that ambience of nightlife around it. It's not urban at all. And I mean, many of you having lived in like Boston or the surrounding areas, this is a very rural and quiet place comparatively. Is there anything further that wants to be done tonight?
What do our rooms look like?
Pretty posh. Some of them not fully decorated yet. There's clear spaces where hangers have been installed and paintings are to go in future, but haven't been put in. But each one has a bed, a chair, a place where a wardrobe where your clothes can be unloaded into, and a balcony. Monkey and Bradley, yours both look out towards Crowwood Hall. Isabella, yours is slightly larger and has an ensuite, and it looks down towards the golf club in the distance. And you can see the moonlight reflected off one of the ponds on the course.
I would like to get all of the soft furnishings in the room and pile them in the middle of the bed and make a nest.
Perfect. It is a little sparse for super soft things. I think they have those like cushions that are like quite firm actually, but you bundle them together, then a couple of the pillows on your bed and a blanket.
If I need to, I'll go and filch like spare cushions off chairs from Cousin Isabella and Uncle Brad's rooms.
Perfect. Yep.
Just like slowly make a nest of soft pillow-like things to curl up in and just fall asleep.
Perfect. Bradley and Isabella?
Were we gonna? I was gonna check out the study. Were you gonna still try to get to the pub?
Yeah, unless it's too late now to really make it across.
It would be pushing it tonight, definitely. But not crazy. I mean, it'd be the late night crowd.
Yeah, I don't sleep so well anymore. Ever since being pulled through time, I find that the sweet embrace of dream does not come to me. So I will put on my boots and trudge across the moonlit grounds heading towards the pub.
Okay. It's a decent walk. You could get a lift, maybe?
Yeah, I'll request, there's automobiles here, right? I'll request that the valet drops me down.
Okay. All right. So Isabella heads down to go and have a look at the pub. Bradley, you're going to have a route around the study. Is that right?
Yeah, I'll ask permission and directions.
Okay.
I just say I'd like to get a feel for Arthur's movements.
Perfect. All right. Well, that in mind, then, Monkey, as you go into one of the rooms to, pinch cushions and things, you can see that the other two are going to continue working throughout the evening. Is there anything you want to be doing?
I'll go pinch cushions from more rooms.
So you just go sort of wandering around and just making shit and having a snoop?
I guess with a half-baked idea that if someone were to want to maybe possibly have a chat to me, I'm just in and around the place, and maybe I'll run into someone with some interesting ghost stories, or maybe I won't. No big deal. Either way, I'll have a comfy place to turn into nap times.
It's all positives. All right. There goes.
Whoa.
It's all right. I brought a spare. That's fairly athletic. Isabella, you head down. You get your boots on to go for the walk, and you're heading off towards the entrance. When rushing down the steps, slightly delayed, comes Kilburn, the valet. He works up a little bit of a huff as he meets you just as you're getting towards the gates. He says, "I'm so sorry, Miss Watch. May I be of service if you have somewhere to go, or are you merely..."
Oh, Mr. Kilburn, that would be catch your breath, man. But that would be fantastic. If you could give me a lift down to the pub.
Yes, the pub. Of course. Right away.
Well, you need to sit down for a moment, sir.
Come with me, please.
The pallor of your face reminds me of when I was on the north face of... continue on with the same story from dinner.
He tries to interject with a lot of and is that so, but is a bit out of breath for it, so you end up just kind of talking at him. He walks you over towards the stables, which previously held horses and things, but all of those have been mucked out, and it now holds a number of quite nice cars. Ooh. The finest among them is the vehicle that you were picked up in, and as you come inside, Peter Craig,
the groundskeeper, is standing in front of it with a bucket before him, a rag which he's dunking in, and he's cleaning the car. And he's particularly focusing on the area with the large scratch along it, trying to kind of buff it out a little bit. He sees the two of you comes in, gives you a glance over, kind of just glowers in your general direction, and then drops the rag back into the bucket, picks it up, and walks back the way he came. Kilburn fetches the keys, which are held on a nearby rack, not locked, but out of sight and kind of a little bit hidden, gets into the vehicle, starts it, and then says, when you're ready, Ms. Watch.
Of course, and I'll get in, go to open the door and step inside, and then pause for a minute, and I'm going to look across at Craig, and I'm thinking, if Bradley were here, he'd be trying to dismantle this man's psyche with astute observations. Can I make a psychology check?
Yeah, definitely. Go for it.
Yeah, I don't have Bradley's skill.
No.
Weird guy. I just
yeah,
checked the car.
he definitely seems to be a bit antisocial, but you're only getting surface. You get into the back of the car, which roars to life, and as the headlights swing across the house, it then rotates around and begins to drive down towards the Queen's Head pub. Elsewhere, Bradley, you go for a walk throughout the area and eventually find the butler, Gerald, who asks if he can be of service.
Are you looking for anything specific, sir?
Well, as it happens, I was wondering if I could take a quick look around not Arthur, his name was Mr. Macmillan's study. I find that having a sense of one's belongings and personal effects immediately prior to the disappearance can often provide a great deal of insight.
Of course, Mrs. Macmillan's been quite clear that you're to have access wherever you request. I understand everything inside is private and confidential. It's only for the purpose of the investigation, right?
Exactly right.
Very good then, if you'll please follow me.
And he begins to hike off. He passes a quite well-stocked library, although a lot of the books are still in boxes and being unpacked, and gets to a study off the side of it. The door is locked. There's two doors. One goes directly into the library and one comes in from the landing. And as he opens it, you can see that this is probably the room where Crystal has had the least hand in. It is a bit chaotic. Things aren't very well organized. You can see papers strewn across the desk. He has a couple of filing cabinets, which are half stocked and poorly organized. Gerald stops in the doorway and says, "Best of luck." And then, can I get you something to drink, sir? No. He just thinks things are poorly organized. If you're going to sort anything from this chaos,
of course,
you'll need it.
Perhaps put some coffee on for me.
Very well. He heads off to get you a drink, and as you sit down and begin to go through it, Monkey, you're scrambling through, the different rooms looking for cushions and things to accrue. Are you looking for anyone in particular? Because you could bump into any of the staff at any time.
I feel like Teresa's the one I want to talk to if I want to talk to Ghost Story, so
Okay.
That's who I'm angling to find, or at least bump into.
Yep.
Or who I'm hoping will find me.
Yeah. As you're walking along the landing at one point, you spot Teresa standing at one of the windows, washing it diligently, and it just so happens that it's also the window that looks out on Isabella as she's departing, and Craig as he's going the other way. She doesn't notice you approach.
Hello.
Oh, hello. She curtsies towards you.
I sort of give a little head nod bow, at this point in jest.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't feel any more comfortable.
No, I don't think it does. But we're supposed to, so we do. It's a good job.
It sounds interesting. It sounds like there's lots of things that happen around the area. I guess it's old places, old stories, old families, and that kind of thing.
Oh, yes. I mean, this whole area, my family was from here for a long time. You can tell from my accent.
Right, okay.
That's the way. She says, there's stories from all throughout these area. I mean, these forests are one large expanse of woods that trawl all the way across Scotland, and I mean, there's a number of I'm not really supposed to get into stories and things.
Well, I'm probably not really meant to do acrobatic leaps down a hallway, but I'll trade you.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't hurt just sharing stories, right? That's the point of stories, is talking about them. And I mean, even if they're not real, they still have value, is what I'm always telling Katie. And you hear it from one of the other rooms, a thump as someone listening at the doorway rapidly walks away. She says, yeah, I mean, there's all sorts of stuff. And I mean, there's the big one, which is, she leans in close and conspiratorially, the Hellhound.
Really?
It's a demon. Bull. Black as sin, only comes out when the moon is full, and it's said to haunt the Crowwood because it was originally from the larger forest that sprawled through this whole area. I mean, I'm pretty sure I've seen it a few times, actually. One was for sure a dog, but the other one, I mean, there's no mistaking it. Massive, long-legged, full of fang, red of eye. I saw it up near the north, near the Macintosh farm, moving back and forth. It didn't pay much attention to me because it's said to only, eat the flesh of the deserving and the sinners, and I myself am a God-fearing woman.
I don't really know how to ask this, and you can absolutely tell me to go away, but, do you think that this dog ate Mr. Macmillan? And if it did, is he not God-fearing?
She's kind of caught between a rock and a hard place here. Could you give me a charm or a social check? Yeah, just take a bonus dice because you've been nice, but just give us a little dice roll.
That's fine. I can't.
Here we go. You got it.
I'll, no.
Well,
bonus
Hopefully
dice. I'll take a bonus dice.
I don't offend her, but I'm
No.
like...
Take a bonus dice because you've been kind to her and Katie.
oh.
Yeah. She doesn't want to cast aspersions onto the godliness of her employer, nor does she want to imply that he may have been consumed by a demon. She kind of changes the topic. She says, do you believe in ghosts?
I mean, I've seen some weird things, like people who thought they could travel through time, and houses that were mainly held up by some kind of like liquid goop. So yeah?
What?
Ghost stories.
Oh, yeah, right. Like stories, sure. Yeah. I'm pretty sure I've seen a ghost, like a real one. I
Here?
think
Or
this place is haunted.
really? Oh my
Yeah.
god, that's so exciting.
Yeah, no, really. Katie and I both saw it, and I'm pretty sure Mrs. Grant saw it as well, although, well, she'll never admit it, her being a God-fearing woman and all.
Definitely not gonna get eaten.
No. I have a mind that thinks that if the wolf encountered her, she'd take a chunk out of it first. She's fierce.
I get that impression.
Yeah, me too. No, I mean, so Katie and I were cleaning late at night, and looking through cleaning the library, and while we were in there, we saw this like figure beginning to form as if out of nothing, and came right through the wall, all translucent and kind of ethereal. And as it came in, it was dressed in this like old-timey garb, and it was distorted, and it was weird. I mean, it scared the hell out of me, and I know it scared the hell out of Katie, whether or not she'll admit it. But I mean, it came right through and shocked the hell out of me. We tried to find it again last night, and no sign of it. But between you and I, we might do a little more cleaning tonight as well.
Oh, would you like an extra pair of eyes?
Yeah. I mean, you've had a lot of experience with ghosts, from what I can gather. Yeah, that'd be good. Ghost stories. Ghost stories.
Definitely
Okay.
stories. Absolutely only 100% only stories.
Yeah, okay. She goes back to her work for a while, but they are never too far away, and you can keep tabs on them. And as the night falls and the moon rises higher, maybe we'll do a little ghost hunting. All right. So Bradley, you get into this sort of disaster den of bits and pieces. What do you want to do? What's the attack? What's the approach?
I guess just have a look at what's on top of the piles, what he was looking at the day of the disappearance or immediately before.
Begin from the top and work your way through.
Yeah. I'm thinking he'll have some plans for what he wanted to do in the golf course. Looking at the map before, was there like a clubhouse there?
Yep. So just here. That's the
Yeah,
clubhouse.
there it is.
It's just as
Little
you
clubhouse
come in.
there. Yeah. So what were they trying to do with the clubhouse? Were they actually doing any works in the grounds? And what kind of odd mythos stuff that the workers have reported founding and decide to pick up and disturb and rub all over themselves? Because something's happened here, that's for sure.
You'd be shocked how often that happens.
Yeah.
Give me a library use check. I do have to ask, you guys spent like 6 months chasing down dead leads and things, and there were definitely a few where you went and you were like, there has to be something mythos. It turns out it was just mundane. This one was just a murder. Happens every now and then. Are you still steadfast in your knowledge that there is the mythos and that it is tied to, the events? Or is there a little bit that's like, maybe this is just another mundane one? Are you twigged yet? What do you reckon?
Try not to pass judgment, because it's so dangerous. You have to assume that the mythos is afoot until it's unequivocally proven otherwise. Because if you let your guard down, that's no good. That's what Bradley thinks.
I dig.
All right, library use.
Ooh.
Another fumble.
No, it's not. So
Push it.
Almost a fumble.
Start throwing his papers around.
yeah. What the hell
think
what does my web caption just said? Sorry.
What did it say?
Oh god. Sorry, that was pretty funny.
I missed it. What did it say?
What the hell?
Very rude thing.
It said,
Okay.
I like it, dick addict, which I didn't say. I said it this time. I didn't say it then. All right,
David.
moving on. I'm just gonna go back and watch. I
stuff.
do not know what I said. What the hell? All right, that was bizarre. Sorry. You have a quick search. You cannot immediately. It's chaos. He's clearly not very organized, and he's just sort of sorted things out into random piles based on vibe.
Okay.
You can get some preliminary insights. One, this project has been underway for several months, 6 months or so, since they moved here not too long ago. Cameron Nairn, as specified, is the foreman, and you can see that they have had a roster of quite a few people coming and going. The work has focused on revitalizing the course, so that includes changing up a bunch of the holes and the way that they're played, as well as extensive renovations in the clubhouse itself. Now, any further information you would need to succeed that library use roll with. So,
Right.
you
So
could
obviously,
push it.
Macmillan's filing system is utter nonsense. So I'm going to create my own filing system for all of his stuff and spend the entire night resorting everything, which
That's what I
could
was-
ruin whatever chance I had to
Oh,
see
Yeah,
what
that's
was
what I was going to
relevant.
suggest. It's already in chaos. You can't really trash the place. So this is going to be you committing your entire night to working there. You just kind of get sucked into. It's like a problem. It's a puzzle, right? And you can
Yeah.
kind of just lose yourself in it. All right, go ahead and push that roll.
It's like a crossword.
Oh,
All right.
Bradley.
Gerald comes and goes, leaving the coffee like at your elbow, and letting himself out. He returns a while later, just sort of checking in if you need anything, because he's going to bed, but he's available if there's anything more you need. The coffee gets cold and you continue your work. You kind of just lose yourself in, like you said, the filing of it, getting everything organized. And as the night progresses, you don't actually uncover any more information, unfortunately.
Well, I gave it my best shot, and
You gave it your
that's
best
all
shot.
that matters.
Can't
that's,
fault you for it.
That's right.
Can't fault you for it. I can't take that away from you, mate. All right. Isabella.
He's gonna be so mad.
When he finds you've organized his stuff.
Yeah.
If he's not dead.
Oi.
Probably
none of that.
dead. I'll be honest.
None of that. No, you watch yourselves. All right, Isabella, driven by Kilburn, you drive down towards the south, past the golf club. As you drive along, can you give me a spot hidden roll?
Absolutely. I'm sure there's nothing important to spot. David, if you say that there's a hellhound watching me, I'm going to be very upset.
A what?
Nah, it's a space wolf.
A spoof.
I'm still in the middle of my Mount Everest story. I'm not watching the windows properly.
Kilburn, now having caught his breath, is listening and is enjoying it very much. You notice nothing of significance. He pulls up in front of the Queen's Head pub. Inside, you can see the lights are on, there's a fire lit, and food is being served. There's a few sort of like construction, like vehicles out the front where people are working. There's also several horses tied up for how people are going to get home. And the remainder will probably just walk.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kilburn. You can return to the house now. I'll make my own way back.
Very good. If you do decide that you need a vehicle to come and pick you up, there's a telephone inside the pub, and we had one recently installed at Crowwood Hall. He gives you the number so that you can call it if needed.
Thank you.
All right. You are let out, and the car pulls away and returns from whence it came. As soon as you step inside the pub, it's very traditional. There's several long wooden tables with stools scattered around them, with a ton of locals sitting at them in families that have just come in for food, and a lot of them farmers and workers who are coming in for a bite and a drink before heading home. Most food's been wrapped up. There's a couple of people still like pushing food around their plates. There is a large bar towards the back behind which the owner and his wife are serving drinks, and what's probably their son is occasionally darting out to clear plates and and to deliver more drinks as needed. There's a large fire, which makes the whole room toasty and warm, especially compared to the slightly damp and wet outside. And it's almost indecipherable once you get this many Scottish people in one location. So it's just a roar of noise that you can't quite peek your way through.
Excellent. All right. Well, I am going to go head up to the bar, and I am going to get 2 pints, and then I am going to look for Mr. Nan.
Sure. Actually, there's no roll needed. You get a couple of pints and they're sent over to you. As you hold it up and you look around, you spot a gentleman along the bar, seated on his stool by himself. His elbows are on the table and his head is face down in them, looking like he's having a little bit of a rest. And there are 3 empty pints in front of him and 1 half drunk, and he's got a little bowl of like peanuts with the shell and all that he's crumpled his way through a good chunk of them. This is Mr. Cameron Nan.
I will head over to him, put myself in the stool next to him, and say, Mr. Nan, sorry.
Hey, sorry.
And
Who's that then?
Quite all right. I will slide the pint over to him so that he has a drink. And then we'll say, I'm working for your employer, Mrs. Macmillan. And
My employer's missing.
Well,
He's gone. I fucking lost him.
That's quite all right. I'm working for her husband. I'm a private investigator from America, sent to try and figure out what's going on.
From America.
That's right.
Did you get lost?
Oh, you have no idea. But never mind. If I get any more lost, I might run into your employer.
He laughs a bit and then catches himself. pulls the drink across, realizes he's double parked, necks the remaining half pint, drops it on the table, and makes a motion to the bartender, who's doing sort of like last call noises, holds up 2 fingers. There you go. And 2 more pints are brought over, so he's got something to drink once the bar closes.
I will pay for them. Buying a pint, I don't think is going to kill my credit rating. And then I'll say, Mr. Nan, just a couple of questions for you. Mrs. McMillan said that there were some problems with the golf course. She didn't seem to know or want to go into detail. What exactly is going on? The construction, there's been problems?
Problems? I mean, the whole thing's been basically a shit show from no to go to no to... It's going in circles. I mean, we've been working there for 6 months more now, and I mean, we're making progress, sure. Like, the holes are all but feckin' done, but now that there's this goddamn renovation, and every worker we get in that's supposed to be clearing the place has suddenly come down with a headache, or he's sick, or his ma wants him home. It's a nuisance. The people here don't know a proper day's work if it hit them in the head. I came in from Dundee, you understand that? You know what they do there? They do real construction work. They actually, turn up on time. They bring their own tools and they get things done. Out here, they're just local farmers, right, who are thinking that maybe I could swing a hammer. And sure, you can swing it fine, but you're going to put a hole in something as likely as you are to actually fit the nail where it's supposed to go, eh?
That's a struggle. That really is.
Yeah, it's a fucking disaster.
And renovations. This is the clubhouse renovation?
Yeah, I renovations.
And was this what is this what Mr. McMillan was working on before he disappeared?
Well, it wasn't working. Man couldn't hold a hammer. No, he's the head boss man.
But, well,
he pays the money. He
was
should
what was
pay the
occupying
fucking money if
his
he's not
mind.
withholding it. What?
It was what was occupying his mind.
I mean, suppose so. He came down. He spends half his time fucking yelling at me. So yeah, I reckon it occupied his mind. Sure.
Excellent. All right. Mr. Nan, that gives me enough to work with already, but before I leave you to your drinks, is there anything else you can think of? Anything that you would want to tell someone who is investigating the disappearance?
Make a... I want to say charm.
Could I go credit rating? Because I've been buying him drinks.
Yeah, that'll do. Go for it.
Still a failure.
He is fairly sodden. He works his way through another one of the pints, and puts it down, and then just no, look, just if you can find the bastard, that'd be grand, because he's the one that pays the bills, and as long as he's missing, these drinks are only coming from you. So
oh, thank you very much.
Hang on. Yeah, they're fucking keys, aren't they?
Keys?
He holds out the ring of keys. Yeah, to get onto the golf course so you can go and lose yourself in a sand pit.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Nan. Thank you very much.
Not a problem.
I'll see to it as quickly as possible that your pint supplier is back and among us.
He salutes you. And then
Excellent.
works his way through the remaining drink. As you
Gentle
head
round
out,
of applause for Dave, please, for the
I
accent
didn't
work.
bow yet. Yeah, pretty tastefully done.
Wait, no,
huh?
he has to bow first.
As you head out, the bartender Henry, from behind the bar, like as you're like squaring up the tab or whatever, says, "Is he all right?"
Yes. Oh, yes. He's just in his cups.
All right. Just he's been in here most every night, as long as
Right.
I can remember. You're a friend of his.
Well, he's employed up at the golf course as a builder, and I'm employed by by the man's wife.
Right. Okay. Well, he could probably do with a walk and a bath, if you can suggest it to him.
I'll sort of turn back towards him and kind of gesture helplessly.
He's trying to catch a peanut.
Yeah. I couldn't carry him if I desired to.
He just seems like a sort who could use a friend, is all I'm saying.
Right. Well, you know what they say, a bartender is friend, therapist, and bartender all in one.
It's pretty good. All right. He nods to you. You square up. And
ready for a fight. Excellent.
And,
Now I will head back.
are you gonna just walk?
And I will trudge back across the moonlit grounds towards the manor and back towards bed.
It's a nice walk. It's late and it's brisk. You get a good pace going. Traipsing along, and going past the golf club. Make another spot hidden roll.
Oh, another one. Oh dear. Still no. I could luck that. How much do I want to succeed this?
Don't stress it.
All right.
The moon is high. It glimmers off the lake, and you find yourself looking down at the course for a little while. You ever played golf, Isabella? You golf?
Once or twice. I am tempted. I do want to go. I do want to play golf. I am stopping myself from asking because I feel like it would be impolite.
It probably would be, but hey, you're only here so often. Actually, I would wonder. You guys knew you were going to a golf course. Has anyone bought clubs with them just in case? You could have easily procured them.
I assumed they'd be here. And to the point when Mrs. McMillan was saying, "Oh, is there anything you need? You know, do you need a car or whatever?" I always said, "Instead of clubs," but that would have been the height of inappropriate.
It would have been a little cheeky. You could. All right.
I'm pretty sure if you gave Monkey a set of clubs, they'd just start juggling them.
Balancing them around. All right. Yeah. It looks like a nice course. You've been to some in your time. It's probably nicer than your average one. And clearly they've made a lot of headway on the holes themselves and designing those. By the time you get back to the hall, it's late at night. You let yourself in one of the side doors to be polite and creep your way up to bed. You go past the study where Bradley makes a sort of a "I'm busy" gesture at you.
All right, Bradley. You look tired.
I'm fine. I have work to do.
All right. Well, enjoy. Okay. Yes. I'm going. Good God.
And you make your way to bed. It's only Monkey who's still creeping around late at night. When you happen upon Teresa and Katie in the library. Sounds like a Clue or whatever it is game scenario. They have seated themselves on a couple of chairs and are waiting patiently, staring at a wall on the other side with nothing particularly interesting happening in it. As you come in, Katie stands up quickly. Teresa's a little slower this time. She seems to be regarding you more as like a more friendly than person we are employed by. And then they both wave you over. They've sequestered, or they've stolen, a few nibbles from the kitchen and put them on a little plate to the side, tucked their legs up under them, and are settling in for a night of just kind of hanging out and maybe seeing a ghost.
No, watching is far more comfortable when you have like cushions and blankets and things.
Yeah, I don't know where they all went.
I can probably go find some if you want them.
Yeah, ideally the ones that go here would be good.
Can I borrow them back when we're done?
It's fine. It's fine. We were told to basically give you anything you wanted. So if you need cushions, we've got some more. There's like more in storage as well. We can raid the whole place and get as many as you want if you like.
Okay, well, if you have never slept in like a cushion nest, you need to.
I'd like to try a cushion nest. You guys like gather all the ones from the storage. They don't have covers and things, but you just drag them all upstairs. At one point, Audrey steps out. There's like the staff accommodation downstairs. She's got like a nightgown on. She's holding it over herself, and she glares at Teresa and Katie, and then you walk up next to them, and she sort of, well, enjoy your evening. Breakfast is at 6, and then turns back and goes into a room to go back to bed. Teresa and Katie giggle
and much enthused by your presence and what they can get away with now, you all rush back up to the library and begin to construct a fairly serviceable nest.
I was convinced that Monkey was about to invite her to join them.
Unless?
No, I think Monkey just does like sees the face, like walks up next to them, sees the change in demeanor, and just like just grins.
She
with, like,
forces a thin-lipped smile back at you.
Good evening.
And then, good night. The door clicks closed behind her.
You're right. She's a lot.
She could for sure take a hellhound. Yeah.
Well, how does Katie react to that?
Katie is kind of just swept up in like just having fun. She's a bit. Katie's probably the one that is occasionally going, "Should we be doing this?" And Teresa's going, "Shut up." And then she's happy to just go along with it. She has also formally abdicated blame by occasionally going, "Maybe we shouldn't." So it's now no longer her fault. That's how it works.
Also, like, I'm a guest. Apparently, you have to bow, which means if I say that I'd like to make a nest in the library, and then I would like, company in the library for the nest watching, like, I think that's reasonable request.
It would be an honor.
Well, guess we should settle in for ghost watching.
They, you all sort of like build this little thing and you all sit down on it, have a drink, little nibble, and stare at the wall for a bit. After a while, Katie is the first one to just get bored. She runs out of interesting stories and goes up to the bookshelf and just meanders through them and finds something to read, pulls it down and settles herself up next to like a candle lantern and begins to flick through the pages. Teresa entertains herself for a little bit longer. She tells a few other ghost stories. They're your more typical like campfire story about children being beheaded and so on and so forth. They all have a little religious twang to them, so most of the people are sinners, which means they had it coming. But eventually she too actually begins to drift off. Her head rested against one of the chairs, and a light snoring sound. Monkey, could you please give me a power roll?
Okay.
Exciting.
Want to see a ghost?
Ah, hell yes.
Katie falls asleep next, done with her book, resting it against her chest. She leans back and also begins to drift asleep. It's then that you feel, rather than hear or see, a shift in the atmosphere. Outside the windows, you can see the stars shimmer a little bit in the sky, and then there's something pushing through the wall. To call it a ghost is generous. It's more a vaguely humanoid shape. You can't make out clothing or any features, but it is humanoid. It's moved in from one of the external walls, and it appears to be shifting through the library and heading towards a wall on the other side, not taking much note of your presence. Can you make a sanity roll for me, please?
It's a little creepy. Oh, God.
Just 1 point.
Not a fumble.
Not a fumble.
Not a fumble.
What do you do?
I would like to stay very still and very quiet, and I want to see where it goes.
Okay. You step up to go after it, and it drifts along the hallway and through a wall. You have to let yourself carefully back out from the library and onto the landing, and then you have to try and sort of track it. Can you give me a spot hidden test? I don't think stealth. You're quiet. I don't think that's the issue here. You watch it go through, like shifting through a wall so that it circumvents Bradley, who's still working late in the study, and then it begins to head towards the master bedroom where Crystal is sleeping. It moves towards the door, and then stands like or hovers for a moment in front of the door frame, and then through the wooden door and into the room beyond.
I would like to follow it
Okay.
quietly.
You get to the doorway and twist the handle quietly. These old doors kind of clank a bit, and it's got a little bit of a jam, so you have to kind of force it just a tad. Can you please give me a stealth roll?
Oh,
Like
hell
butter.
yes.
Alrighty.
Butter.
It is
You-
literally my second best skill.
You lever the door open, and inside you can see Crystal is asleep on only one side of the master bed. The windows are slightly open. She likes it cold, and she's got several like dunas on top of her, and the curtains are blowing in the cold night wind. Hovering above her sleeping form, parallel and directly above, is the spirit, and you can just barely make out what sounds like whispered words. As you creep forward, can you please give me a listen roll and take a bonus dice on this?
Go,
You
monkey,
are
you are
crushing
killing
it.
it.
That's how it's done.
You hear it's scattered and it's broken up, and you can't catch all of it, but sort of love you look and time, and then the form shimmers a little further and begins to disperse. Gone. Crystal mumbles something in her sleep, rubs at her eyes, and half, like beginning to wake, begins to pull herself up in bed and reach for a glass of water on her nightstand. What are you doing?
Leave and go back to the library.
Okay.
And curl up and go to sleep and pretend that I passed out at the same
Okay.
time later.
All right. The next morning, Bradley, all-nighter, baby. You're woken up by Gerald coming back in, and he's a little bit surprised to see you, but not totally surprised. You're informed that breakfast is ready. Isabella, you are much more politely informed. Monkey, unfortunately, you are woken when Audrey comes in, and trying not to disturb you, grabs Katie and Teresa by the ears and drags them out to go and help to prepare the mornings, to go and do their work. And you can hear her quietly berating them that they probably didn't get any sleep and they're going to be useless today. You all convene in the dining room, and Crystal is taking her breakfast in her bed, but has sent down her best wishes with you. Bradley, can you give me a Constitution roll, please? Because you're a bit bloody knackered, mate.
This is all this filing. It's a younger man's work.
You're
The
risking paper
excitement
cuts.
of youth.
Oh.
Okay. You're tired. You're beginning to feel it. As you sit on a table, heavy eyelids. All you want to do is go back to bed. Gerald gives you a coffee and then leaves like the pot just next to it, so that you can get a little bit of energy through the day. And Kilburn sticks his nose in at one point and says, will you be needing the automobile this morning? Can I give you a lift anywhere?
We'll be heading onto the golf course, I think, but we'll just confirm and get back to you if that's quite all right.
Very well. I'll just be outside. He lets
Thank
himself out. No one's really around at this point. The butler, Keating's the one that comes and goes a bit. Teresa and Katie have been set to task and they are not here. And Audrey heads back into the kitchen to continue cooking. What do the three of you want to do, say, etc.?
All right. Well, let's reconvene what we found out. I went down to the pub, spoke to Cameron Nan. Cameron says that the golf course has not been going well, and that the last thing that Arthur Macmillan was looking into was this renovation of the clubhouse. My suggestion would be we head out onto the golf course. We don't play a few rounds because, God forbid we have any fun. and then we head to the clubhouse. Maybe do some exploring and searching inside there. What about the other you? Anything interesting happen? And I'm blissfully unaware that Monkey is about to be like, yeah, I saw a fucking ghost.
Well, I had a very interesting night. I went through Mr. McMillan's files in his study.
Bradley?
Uncle Brad?
Hey.
Oh, I'm sorry. Was I not speaking out loud?
No, you weren't. You were rather falling into the pot.
Oh dear. Well, yes, it was a non-eventful night. Only to say that they are renovating some of the halls and the clubhouse. But beyond that, I'm afraid Mr. McMillan does not spend a lot of time organizing his files.
Well, at least they've done that for him now.
Yes.
So, I saw Mr. McMillan.
Oh,
What?
Okay, well, probably should have started with that. Okay, well, all right. Where is he? Where is he?
Well, he's either dead or he's trapped in time?
Again?
God.
This nonsense?
Well, we found one. We got it. It's not just a missing cat for once. We've actually found another. I don't know what a term for this
Anomaly.
would be. Another haunted house. Another
Anomaly is fine, I
another
think.
mansion of madness. TM available. I guess.
Also, did you know there's a hellhound?
Here?
Yeah.
Did you see it too?
No, but when, a couple of people, when there's like local rumors about like full of fang and red of eye and, kind of full moon wolf things, and then, thank you, Dave, and then, and then someone's like, oh yeah, I saw it in the woods.
So
You haven't
There's
seen
a
it.
hellhound and Mr. McMillan is a ghost. Yeah.
So maybe the hellhound's eaten Mr. McMillan, and I don't know, the spirit
Well-
is now wandering or something.
That would imply that he was not a God-fearing person, because apparently the hellhound only eats non-God-fearing people.
That could just depend on I don't know. Maybe he's Anglican and the hellhound doesn't like that.
I think they're kind of stringy.
Anglicans.
In general.
I think maybe, because we've seen hounds before that really don't like it when you mess with things that aren't normal. So maybe Mr. McMillan found something that wasn't normal, and so the hellhound ate him, and now he's floating around as a ghost.
You said he
trying to
was.
communicate with his wife.
You said he was trapped in time. How did you know he was trapped in time?
Because he said the word time.
Oh God. Well, if there are hellhounds
Well, I missed
that
the word before it, so I don't have the entire context.
You missed a few. You got like pieces of it.
No, as in like you said, I think 5 words, and I only wrote down 4 because I only heard 4 of them properly. Yeah.
Oops.
I go, love you, look, something. Time.
love you, look,
Ent or
and
end.
time.
What?
Love you, look, and time.
Ent.
Ent might mean forest, like.
Well, more likely to be the end of another word.
Anyway, great. So I
What
didn't miss
ends
a
in
word. I
ent?
just did not pass that for Cool. Anyway, that is what I heard.
Judgment.
Ent. Time. Yeah, so, he said time, which makes me think that given that he was kind of it's not like I know what ghosts look like, but he was sort of amorphous for a ghost. So yeah,
Yes.
maybe he's stuck in time, or maybe something's... It wouldn't be the first
Maybe
time.
maybe he's looking for an annulment because he's given it enough time.
I was curious. Apparently, there are 2,774 words that end in ENT.
Ah, it's
How many
So we could go through all of them.
Well, hold on.
Holy shit, hang
We're
on.
assuming that the word ends in ENT and doesn't start in ENT, and we just
Ends
intend
ends,
the word.
Yeah.
That's true.
I think the concept of him coming back to say annulment is beyond hilarious, because it implies he's possibly killed himself to do it. So he kills himself, comes up and goes, I love you. I want an
It's not working out.
We've given us enough.
Does it-
No,
Does it
but
help
it
you
was,
out?
no, because we know that it's clearly broken. The phrase could have been, I never loved you. I want an annulment. We've given it enough time.
Okay, so
What a bastard.
look, cousin Isabella, I appreciate where you're coming from, but maybe not everyone has as like complex and turbulent love lives as you do.
That could be
Marriage is a
you bringing your
scam.
baggage to the table here. We can talk about that.
Right.
Anyway, so yeah, I guess I had maybe the most eventful evening by the sounds of it. Maybe.
Yeah. Although a pub full of Scottish people, that's
It's its own
That was
kind of
something.
alien.
Okay, so look, Bradley, you look like you're about to fall off your feet entirely.
Well,
maybe
I'm
it's
feeling
best-
a little revived at the revelation that there are ghosts and hellhounds walking about.
Well, I mean, I was going to suggest that you maybe take a rest, and Monkey and I could go out and explore the course. I would like to take a look at the clubhouse.
Did you
doesn't
say
end
something
in
about all of the
ENT, but,
workers?
Pardon me?
Did you say something about all of the workers? Like,
Yes, sorry, I didn't, but I should have. Yes, the workers reporting headaches, feeling sick, possibly evidence of some kind of weirdness. So we could go and take a look there. Bradley, I hate to...
Well, no, I don't mind if you want to stroll the course itself. I could stay in the clubhouse and look into things there. And if I need a quick sit down, I'm sure there's a chair nearby.
We could all head to the clubhouse. The other
Yeah.
point is, Bradley, I've seen you with those crossword books. Is it foolish to just spend an hour or two with a dictionary, try and piece together what was the ENT word?
Well, that's not a bad idea. Well, it is a bad. I can think of worse ideas. Sure. Why
Well,
don't I?
you said there was 2,000 because you had access to Google, but look at the dictionary and go through things.
That's
Look-
an estimate. Sure, I'll take a dictionary or two and a notepad to the clubhouse, and if my legs fail me, I'll get to work on that.
All right, well, to the clubhouse then.
want to talk to any more of the staff before we go? I don't really, I'm not a great read of people, but Mr. Craig kind of looks like he hates everyone.
Yeah. If I had to put my money that someone had dismembered the poor man and stashed him somewhere, I'd say Mr. Craig. But our evidence doesn't seem to point in that direction. Our evidence seems to suggest Hellhound. Maybe we could just talk to Craig. You know what? I've always we tend to dance around the topics a lot. You remember when we were talking to what's his name, Memphis's assistant, and we simply were Hawkins, and we refused to acknowledge, that we knew about everything. Imagine what would have happened if we'd simply gone up to him and said, "Hey, we know you're a bloody wizard. We know Memphis
something
is
of a
a bloody
wizard
wizard
myself."
too." Perhaps we'd be direct. Perhaps we go to Peter Craig and we say, "Listen, Peter, we know there's a hellhound on the loose, and we know it ate the head of the household, and we think you might have summoned it. Did you?"
I feel like that makes a little less sense than Mr. Hawkins, because Mr. Hawkins was actually using an eldritch box of like space-time quantum jumping fun times.
Right.
And Mr. Craig is just an angry groundskeeper. And the hellhounds are technically ghost stories, so either he's just going to think we're insane, or he'll say that he thinks we're insane.
Well, you're right, and we do have our lead on Peter Craig is he seems slightly suspicious,
Which probably
whereas
means he's fine. Like, he's probably not the person who did it. I just am curious why he's so angry.
and our lead on the house is that people are getting sick. Sorry, the clubhouse. People are getting sick near it, and it was the last thing that Mr. McMillan was involved with. So I think the clubhouse is a much better lead.
Okay.
And you're right, probably not involved with it.
I still think we should talk to him. Maybe when Uncle Brad's had a cat nap.
Well,
Brad?
good bloody job, monkey. Bradley, drain the rest of the pot and let's get going.
Uncle Brad?
Oh, that's me. I'm Bradley. Fine. Yes,
You
I
need
agree.
to open your mouth and say the words outside of your head so we can hear them too. Unfortunately, none of us are quite magical and or telepathic yet, but maybe you could teach us one day.
I'll keep that in mind. Thank you for the reminder.
No, don't keep it in mind. You need to say it out loud, otherwise we can't hear it.
Bradley!
Yes, I agree with everything that has been said up to this point, and have nothing further to add.
Brilliant.
So the
Alright.
plan
nailed
is
it.
you're all going to the golf club, is that right?
Yes.
Would you like a lift? Would you like to borrow a car?
No, let's walk just in case we I don't know. I feel like Arthur was wandering the course a lot. I do genuinely just want to make sure he didn't that the plot of this actually isn't that there's Dune style sandworms in the sand pits or something, and we don't get attacked on the way.
So you better make sure you work to that rhythm then.
Oh, exactly. Yes.
All right. The three of you head out to the front of the house. Oh, bit of bloody forest ambience.
Just realized that Lethal Weapon song is a reference to June.
Really?
Yeah, if you walk, I'd never
Yeah,
put the
if
two
you walk
together.
without rhythm, then you won't attract
attract
the
the worm.
worm.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Ah!
Weapon of Choice by
Yeah.
Fatboy Slim is there's a reference to June in there.
Wow, there you go.
Yep. So what happens when you listen to that song on repeat for ages and then you're like, oh.
Little bloody tsunami.
Yeah.
All right. You make your way outside the hall. You can see the staff attending to their day, and then begin to make the half hour, 45-minute walk down towards the golf club. As the crow flies, you could hop the fence and be on the course pretty quickly, but you kind of need to go all the way around it to get down towards where the golf. We've got a map. I'll just show you the map. Down. So you're up at the Crowwood Hall, obviously. You could hop the fence here. Otherwise, you need to go around to the entrance, which is down here near the clubhouse. You make the walk along and past the perimeter and get to the front. It's locked with a heavy iron lock, but the keys provided by Cameron work, and as you click it, they slide open, you drag the chain through, and then you can heave the whole thing open. A car would now easily be able to come and go from here. Inside, the several vehicles are parked along the side, all tarped down so that they won't get rained on. And you can see stores of lumber and other building materials in different places. There is the large building, which is the clubhouse. There are the 18 holes of the course, and there is also a storage cupboard off further towards the north, which you can see also seems to have had some light renovation done to it. Where's everyone going? Where do we want to begin?
Straight for the clubhouse itself, I suppose.
No golf.
I want to play. Don't stop tempting me. There's probably clubs in the clubhouse, so we'll get those and then we'll go out.
I would like to go and have a look at the supplies.
Okay.
Yeah, let's have a look at the clubhouse and what kind of comfortable chairs might be inside.
All right, so Bradley and Isabella are going straight into the house, and Monkey, you're going to have a look at the supplies first. Okay. Anything in particular you're looking for?
Eldritch magics,
Sure. When in doubt.
Great beasts from the beyond.
Yeah.
The usual.
So I could say spot hidden or track if you're looking for paw prints.
No, go spot hidden. My track is.
Go for it.
I'm an urban human. So, I mean, I climb a lot of trees, but they tend to exist in backyards.
Yeah, spot hidden will suit.
38. Over 60.
Nice. Okay, you have a look through it. Let's see. There's a lot of stuff here. They were clearly only partly way through the project. Clearly there is something in this ambient track which I added for spook, which is making me jump. Sorry. There is.
You made yourself jump?
I
Amazing.
did. Clearly I'm
It's pretty spoopy.
too good at it. Sorry. There's several supplies here from where they were building the supply chain. It looks as though they downed tools pretty rapidly. things just got kind of left where they lay, and you spot like a hammer just lying off to the side, abandoned. Apart from that, though, no sign of mythosness. There's plenty of tools here. If you were in urgent need of a weapon, can't imagine why you would be, you could find something here. If you're in urgent need of a plank of wood, you could also find that here. So nothing of particular note apart from that.
Do I have my bandolier with me?
Yeah,
Okay.
that makes sense.
Then
Look, you
I
guys
won't
are...
get a bag of nails to use as an alternative weapon.
I think once you saw the ghost and heard the hound stories, I presumed you guys are trench coated up and kitted. You will need to have you would have needed to re-procure these things on this side, except maybe Monkey, who might have like a sequestered spot in their luggage where he smuggled it across the ocean. Anyway, all right. So into the house, is that right? Clubhouse, rather.
If I don't find anything, I'll go and join the other two whenever that becomes appropriate.
It'll be imminent. It's no big deal. All right, I am moving you across a map. Can you let me know if you can see it?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, let's juggle that and show it to the viewers. So, this is the clubhouse. I will zoom out so you can get some context. There are 2 floors that you can immediately see, and you come in on the lower level into the entrance. Across the room, there is the hall, on the other side of which there is a door. All of the windows have had the glass currently they've got planks put alongside them to reinforce them, and they're covered with like dust sheets so that they don't get damaged during the repairs. Just one moment. All right. The area you've come in is being painted at the moment, and it's only partway done being painted this sort of like hunting green, very dark and quite royal. There's elaborate plaster cornices which are being refitted. Some of them were damaged over time, and they've actually had to be cut down, examined, created to match, and they're now being refitted up. And a couple of the floorboards have been pried up and are actually missing. You can see the vacuum below, where then you can see the ground underneath. There is a large desk to one side of the foyer, and on it is a sort of a hammer, a few boxes of nails and things. And then there's a number of windows along the lower side. Some of these are going to be stained glass on the exterior, and the sun that hits them kind of shifts and mottles a little bit on the other area. This other side is the hall, which then continues up in this direction. Where do people want to go? Oh, sorry, these stairs are these the stairs that go up? Yes, these stairs go... No, these are the stairs that go down. This set of stairs go down in towards the basement. Nope, I lied. They go up. These ones go up. Tricked again.
Wow.
So they go up to the second level.
All right. Well, let's find Bradley a chair.
Yes, where's the comfortable room?
I suppose I'm just going to try and get a good sense of the bottom floor. I'll head over into the hall.
Okay.
I will sneak upstairs.
All right, so we'll move Monkey up towards the second.
Always disconcerting whenever there's a map for something, because you go, oh no, this is relevant.
All right, I'm moving Monkey down to the lower one as they begin to come up the stairs and have a peruse. Bradley,
Take a look in the hall as well.
Isabella, go through this way, and let's begin revealing some of the maps. So
That is a great hall.
it's pretty bloody phenomenal. I'll just move all the doors because you're gonna go
Golf shot.
Oh, my eyes are caught.
All right. So to the direct right, there is a golf shop, which is going to be where they sell a lot of stuff. Currently, there is little inside. All the light fixtures are still in their boxes, yet to be installed. And you can see wiring in the roof, which still needs to be screwed into the bulbs. However, underneath a desk towards the back, there are 3 pristine and still wrapped golf bags with clubs taped together and stacked up just nearby. As you walk in, you can see that there is piles of merchandise for the Thistlewood Golf Club, just things that will be sold in future. Up higher, as you continue on, you can see there are 2 changing rooms You sort of open them and look inside. Each of these are going to be like filled with like little booths and things and benches for people to sit on once they get comfortable. Isabel and Bradley, what's the split? Where are we going?
Bradley, you can sit down. I can't take it anymore. I'm taking one of those clubs and I'm gonna play one hole, just one hole.
Well, now I don't really like the idea of you going out there on your own. I think I better follow. I'll be a caddy.
But you need to be sitting down, Bradley. You're
No.
exhausted.
This simply won't do. You
All
can't
right.
go wandering out there on your own.
Okay, take a power nap and then we'll go. Have a seat over there.
Wake me up.
I'll wake you up. I'll wake you up.
Okay, so Bradley is planted on there's like a low there's like a stool or something that one of the painters was standing on just here in the corner, and you plant yourself on that and have a little power nap. Isabella, what are you doing?
I'm basically just gonna sit around and I'm gonna see if I'm getting a headache. I'm gonna try and like detect the weirdness that the builders had.
Okay. All right, gotcha. We'll come back to that then. Monkey, on the second level, you step through. From here, you can see it goes down into what will be a library, a meeting room. It has a series of bookshelves all on the interior, several of them covered with cloth, but a lot of them just kind of abandoned midway through. And to the right over here, you can see what will be a restaurant and a ballroom. It's a very large room with tall banisters, and to the south, down here, there's a window which looks in towards what will probably be like a serving area. As you walk into this area, you get a look at the restaurant and the ballroom, and then you turn to open the door into the library. And as you shift it open, the door suddenly swings shut, as if falling away. And I need you to make a dexterity check as the gravity inside shifts, and you almost go flying down, as if this map currently was down and this was up.
Oh my
Okay.
fucking god.
Catch yourself on the entrance, and suddenly inside all of the books and things are unmoving. You catch yourself and swing there for just a moment. The whole thing sort of tugs at you a little bit. You can feel gravity shifting, and you heave yourself up enough to you are stable, and then it begins to revert, shifting back down. Your feet drop down to the floor, and you're able to stand again. I need a sanity roll from you though, but you seem to be back in control.
Jesus. Monkey managing to get all of the weird stuff happening to him.
All right. Can you please take just a point? Isabella, can you make a power roll for me?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
That is a success. Can I quickly say I lost a bunch of power in the first scenario from Mr. Corbett, and every power check I've made since then has succeeded, which is just insane.
Bravo.
Okay. You step into the golf shop, partly to assess the area and partly in case you need golf clubs. The room inside is dark because most of the light filtered through the windows is caught by the fabric and the wood placed to protect the glass. You stand and close your eyes, begin to feel the air around you. Three things are going to happen. One,
It's a lot of
you
things.
feel a shift in atmosphere, as if deep underwater, holding your breath in the deep end of the pool. Your heart begins to beat faster as it builds around you, and you kind of have to squeeze your eyes closed to prevent them from opening and possibly breaking whatever effect. The second is you hear a voice as if echoed through distant copper pipes and only carried part way. It goes, fucking about here, idiot. Echoed through, carried. Actually, make a listen check as that happens.
Excuse me, rude voice. Sure, a listen check coming up. No.
That's all you'll get. Lastly, as you stand back, pushed into the corner of the room, something squeezes its way through the angle, the edge of that space from some other dimension, catches the back of your shirt, and then lunges forward, shoving you to the wall beyond. As you clatter against it, Bradley wakes with a start, and Monkey's feet slam down onto the floor above as gravity reverts itself to normality. And where we pick up the session next time, something has entered the building alongside Isabella. And Isabella, you've seen it before. You only remember it now. In your nightmares, the ones that come and leave you in a cold, drenching sweat when you wake, you see yourself shot, standing, or lying rather, in a room filled with broken mirrors and images of yourself. Through each one, the fractions where the slivers of glass have clattered to the ground, a huge hound with twisted edges and dark, deep, shining red eyes glares at you from beyond, and now that same beast is staring down at you from the corner of the golf shop. All right. Hot dog.
The Time Wolf.
Time Wolf. All right, guys, we will park the session there. So, thank you guys for playing. Thank you, everyone, for watching. We are going to jump right back into this scenario next week. Same place, same time, same place, same etc. Everything else. Yeah, we'll have to figure out what the hell is going on and if Isabella can survive a direct encounter with the Mythos. All good things must end.
Oh, fantastic.
Thanks.
Thanks,
Cheers,
everybody.
guys.
Thanks, Dave.
Rock and roll. All right, we'll see you guys later. Cha 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 cha.